was looking through my inventory trying to find a stone for a custom pendant that somebody wants me to make. 74 carats worth of Australian opal with at least some color in it. It's about a half an ounce. Now, I really don't know where I got this. It was just loose. I mean, not on the loose. I mean, it wasn't moving, but just a bare stone sitting there. The sand on this thing is unbelievable. This is the only decent side. We can see one color bar, but look at the rest of the sides. They're just covered in sandstone, which is really unusual in seam opal. We expect it on the back and the front, but the sides are crazy in this thing. So the only way to gauge the quality of this stone for custom opal jewelry is to remove the sand on the sides and take it from there. It's time to get going. Let's get in there and let's do this thing. Let's do it! I always wanted to say that. It makes me sound tough. Very nice color. Nice bar there, a little bar here, and looks like a potch bar in the middle. This side, the flat side, looks like the best, but let's go to the opposite end right here, see what that shows. So, this is the opposite side. Seems to have quite a bit more color. In fact, it goes much lower than this one. Guess we're going to need to see the sides. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got. This is the original side that we could see this color before we exposed the whole thing. There's a thin layer here that appears to be potch. We've got this very impressive multicolor bar with a lot of red. If we follow it around with that, so we've got a pretty large color bar that thins down to about that thin. Whoa, this is a pretty good stone. I said before, I don't know how much I paid for this. I may have paid $500. I may have paid $5,000. I don't think I paid $5,000 or anything close to that because you couldn't see anything. But now you can. And what we see is very impressive. So it is a $5,000 stone, but there was no way to know it, so I don't know how I could have paid that. So this appears to be the money side, the flat side. Let's go in and remove the back, and then we're going to go and hope that this all hooks up. Okay, we're going to remove the sandstone on the bottom. I mean, you shouldn't thin out a stone just to thin it out. If this were in a setting and say you could see the back of the stone, you really don't want to see sand through the back of an expensive pendant. So the back didn't show very much. It's got this pinfire pattern. So now we need to go to the front of the stone. If this is going to be part of an expensive opal pendant, this has to go right. You got sand. Sand just sometimes just dives down deep and you get a spot or two or three, and sometimes you ruin the whole piece. Okay, we're going to work on the side that should, well, it's our best side, so. Looking good. So we've opened up an area of broad flash, beautiful opal, and then we have this pinfire looking stuff. And if you look around to the side, we can see that the broad flash is very close to the surface, and this pinfire should be just a thin layer above that. So we're going to go down a little bit deeper and see if we can expose the good stuff. We've got a lot of color here. We still have some potch to get through, and it looks like there's a little indentation of sand. I think that it's thick enough here to get through that, but I'm not sure. Almost completely through the pinfire. So let's get back to work. Here's where we stand. It still weighs 65 carats. I've never personally made a piece of jewelry with a gem that large. What beauty. What a piece of opal. My signature style is freeform, symmetrical. Problem is right here. I mean, it's got color, but it's not showing up. There it is. Right now, I'm looking at cutting that off. What if I grind further down in here and I can get the color to face forward. What then? It's so beautiful. What an amazing stone. So listen up. I'm going to grind in here and see if I can bring that in. As it is now, it's really not acceptable to have that flaw. Oh, decisions. Getting closer. So now I've got a rough approximate shape, quite a stone. So I'm going to go through sanding and polishing and refine the shape as I go. I stopped selling opal jewelry on eBay about 2 years ago. I mean, I like to make jewelry, I like to cut stones, and selling on eBay gave me a lot of experience. But I didn't need the money. You see, in 2 years, my total earnings were, well, let's see, $67.22. So I turned away from eBay and I decided to waste my time by making life difficult for you guys. I mean, subscribing to this YouTube channel reminds me of an old joke by George Carlin, who stole the joke from Groucho Marx. And he said, "I refuse to belong to a club that would have somebody like me as a member." So, if you're already a member, you have my condolences. And if you're thinking about subscribing, well, good luck with that. So, after eBay, I stopped selling opal. I mean, I never have sold rough or cut opal, but I decided to stop selling opal jewelry, with one exception. I do sell expensive custom opal jewelry through my website. Now you're probably thinking, what an asshole. I mean, what a snob. Only selling to rich people. Well, the truth is that I almost never actually make a profit from this expensive opal jewelry. So why do I do it? Well, for one, I'm insane, but you probably know that if you're part of the club, so to speak. But the reason I do it is making a $10,000 opal pendant should make a great YouTube video. I suspect that I may have gotten this from Murray Willis of Australian Opal Mines, although I can't really be sure. I've bought opal from a lot of places, and this looks to me like Cooper Pedy opal. But with Australian opal, if you think that you are certain about where in Australia it came from, prepare to be wrong. Most people can't. I can't tell precisely where a piece of opal came from. I can guess. So forget about where in Australia this opal is from, and focus on the fact that you're actually seeing it at all. If you are seeing this, it means that whatever is inside this gray rock was good enough to make an expensive custom opal pendant with. So if you're still here, that makes me happy, because if the opal was not good, you would be seeing me cutting some other stone. Or maybe just talking to Sheila or watching PewDiePie. No, maybe. Or some other nonsense. Anyway, let's take a look at the stone. I really don't know what I paid for it. It could have been $500, in other words, $1,000 an ounce. It could have been $5,000, $10,000 an ounce. But to be truthful, if I spend $5,000 on a single stone, I remember it. So this could have come from eBay, and now that I think about it, it probably did. eBay is one of the only places where you can buy opal and have no idea what you're buying because the seller has no idea what they're selling. I love ignorance. If I did buy this on eBay, I may have only paid $100 or even less. Now, there are no Opal dealers on eBay where you can expect to get a great deal. The best you can expect from them is a fair price. But the people who sell old shoes and dog whistles, heck, they may pay you to take a chunk of Opal. Well, not really, but anything is possible. Well, I'm sorry I was late with the video, but I ran into an Opal cannonball. Seems like I had to do more than just polish it. But it may be a blessing in disguise because this was a great Opal that I found in the meantime. Hope to keep it to 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the future. I'll see you next time.